Men's tennis stays undefeated in Horizon League play, and track and field has a successful weekend at Slippery Rock. All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. And welcome into the Penguin Rundown. I'm your host for this week, Caleb Ellison. It was a pretty busy week for YSU Athletics, and it's going to be a pretty busy episode for me, so I'm the only one here today. But I am excited for the journey. I hope you guys are ready to take it with me, and we're going to get the week started with women's lacrosse. The women's lacrosse team continued conference play last weekend against Central Michigan, with the Penguins ultimately losing to the Chippewas 20-11. YSU would score first in the contest, with sophomore Lawrence Ottensmeyer finding the back of the net within the first 3 minutes of the game. Central Michigan would quickly fire back though, scoring 3 unanswered goals in the first quarter to take the lead. It was back and forth action, scoring from both teams after that, as going into halftime the game was tied 8-8. This was when Central Michigan would crank the offense up as the Chippewas went on a 12-1 scoring run to start the second half. Despite the underwhelming team performance, graduate student Allie Corinne stayed strong, scoring a season-high 6 goals. Youngstown State will now start a 3-game road trip beginning in Akron against the Zips in a MAC conference matchup this Saturday at 2 p.m. The baseball team had a long week in Michigan last Wednesday through Sunday, as the Penguins took on Michigan State on Wednesday, followed by Oakland throughout the weekend. On Wednesday, the Spartans got the best of YSU, scoring 7 runs in the first 2 innings to take a 12-5 victory. The Penguins only got 5 hits, but 2 of them were extra base hits from Pat O'Shaughnessy. He had a solo home run and a double to lead the Penguins with the bats. After MSU, the team stayed in the state of Michigan to take on Horizon League opponent Oakland. In Game 1 of the series on Friday, YSU got off to a great start with a 2-run home run in the first inning by Braden O'Shaughnessy. The Golden Grizzlies then responded with a 4 spot in the bottom of the first and would hold on to the lead the rest of the way to beat the Penguins 11-6. YSU out-hit Oakland 9-8, with freshman Chase Franken and junior Steve Dusanio each having 2 hits and an RBI, but this was not enough to win the opening game of the series. The next day, the Gwins bounced back by picking up a thrilling 4-2 win in the final 2 innings. The game was tied at 2 in the 8th inning until senior catcher Dylan Swarmer hit a sacrifice fly to put YSU on top by 1. In the 9th inning, shortstop Seth Lucero hit an RBI single up the middle to give YSU an insurance run. Closer Nathan Ball came in to record his 6th save of the season, and Youngstown State won Game 2 by a final of 4-2. In the series finale on Sunday, it was all Oakland, as the Golden Grizzlies had 16 hits and 2 home runs to give YSU their largest margin of defeat this season, a final of 14-1. The Golden Grizzlies took the game on Sunday and won the series 2-1. The Gwins also took on Ohio State yesterday. Check out YSUsports.com for the box score and final results. The Penguins will play their first home game of the season tonight at 5 p.m. Follow YSUsports.com for live updates and live audio of the game. Following the postponement of the Oakland series 2 weeks ago, the softball team struggled offensively, recording just 7 hits the past weekend versus IUPUI. In Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader, the Penguins could only come up with 1 hit. However, an RBI walk and a hit by pitch supplied the only 2 runs they would need. 5th-year senior pitcher Ellie Buffenbarger was nearly unhittable, as she allowed just 1 run on 2 hits while striking out 10 to earn her 13th win of the season. Buffenbarger credited the mixing of pitches for her dominant performance.
Just like mixing my pitches, it helps when the batters swing their bats, and just mixing up my pitches and just trying to do my best and feed balls to my defense, and that's how you get through a complete game.
In the nightcap, the Penguins had more luck offensively as they recorded 6 hits, including a solo home run from fellow 5th-year senior Nikki Savini. However, the Jaguars swung the hot stick as they notched 14 hits in the 7-2 loss. Sophomore Sophie Howell allowed 9 hits, and she also gave up 3 runs and walked 5 in just 4 innings. Senior Kayla Rutherford came on the mound to cool down the bats, but was unable to, as she gave up 4 runs through the final 3 frames. Head coach Brian Campbell said the team struggled to make adjustments at the plate.
Probably not making adjustments. It's probably the biggest thing offensively, and you know, you got to make the adjustments with this change of speed that those pitchers were doing, and you know, we got to do a better job with that.
In Game 3 on Sunday, both teams needed to bundle up for a chilly afternoon, and YSU's bats were just as cold as the weather, as IUPUI would no-hit Youngstown State and claim the series finale 1-0. Buffenbarger was back on the mound for the women, and she would go the distance, allowing only 3 hits and a run while striking out 8. That performance would go to waste, however, as IUPUI took the series 2-1. Head coach Brian Campbell gave credit to the Jaguars pitching for keeping his team off balance.
Thanks, guys. Welcome into the roundtable. I'm Andrew Peterson alongside Richie Giuliano. And Richie, we're going to talk about some YSU softball today as they went into the weekend riding high off momentum, going 5-1.
Yeah, they got off to a great start in Horizon League play at 5-1, a great start in the month of March, but kind of struggled this weekend offensively. The weather conditions weren't the best softball conditions, as we know. Obviously a pitcher's advantage, but IUPUI, got to give credit to them, came into Youngstown and took the series 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we're going to get started talking about Game 1, which is the lone game that YSU won 2-1.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Ellie Buffenbarger, who pitched a gem of a game for Youngstown State, had 10 strikeouts for now the 4th time in this season, and she threw 7 innings complete, gave up just 2 hits and 1 earned run, just spectacular. And Youngstown State was able to get 2 runs in the same inning when the opposite pitcher, Madison Bryant, walked in the bases loaded and then hit the next batter. So that gifted Youngstown State the 2 runs. Buffenbarger came out with the lead and she finished the ball game. Youngstown State came out victorious 2-1.
Yeah, she's really been a bright spot throughout her tenure during this program. We are going to be moving on talking to Game 2, which it seemed like IUPUI really got their bats going and started earning some runs.
Yeah, they did. IUPUI had a really good game number 2, came back and bounced back after a tough offensive performance in game number 1, of course, with Buffenbarger striking everybody out in the first game. They had a new pitcher on the mound, and they were able to rally 14 hits in the ball game, put up 3 crooked numbers. They added the 2 insurance runs in the top half of the 7th inning, and they were able to come out victorious in that game 7-2.
And now on Game 3, it seemed like the pitcher of Bryant really showed strong for IUPUI.
Yeah, she was the difference in that game, actually. Her first ever collegiate no-hitter, absolutely lockdown performance in the transfer out of Urbana, which is her hometown and non-Division I school. And this is her first year pitching in the Horizon League and first time facing off against Youngstown State. And man, was she special to watch on Sunday afternoon as she locked down the Penguins, throwing a complete game no-hitter, only walking 3 while striking out 7. And that was just one of the 2 great performances that she had this weekend. She only gave up 3 hits in that first game against Youngstown State and 2 earned runs. Of course, we talked about the walks being an issue for Bryant. Definitely cleaned that up and bounced back on Sunday. And IUPUI would get the victory over Youngstown State and win the series. That's the first time YSU has dropped the series this season.
Now, as you said, YSU is coming off. YSU had just played. Their game just got rescheduled or it was supposed to be played Wednesday. It just got moved to Tuesday. So now, if you want to check out results, go head over to YSU.com. For Andrew Pearson and Richie Giuliano, this is the roundtable.
Thank you, Andrew and Richie, for your roundtable. And like Andrew said, Niagara doubleheader was last night. You can check out YSUsports.com for the results there. To turn things on a positive note, the bowling team took place in a special event as they held a watch party for their selection in the National Collegiate Bowling Championship. The invitation came to no surprise as the Penguins have been near the top of the NCAA for the past 2 years. Head coach Doug Kuberski took his team to the NCAA tournament last year where the Penguins finished in the semifinals. Kuberski gave his take on what he's expecting out of his team this year.
We're hungry, you know. I know last year at this time I think we turned the Jets on, and I can feel that same mentality and energy with this team. They mean business, and as you can see, we weren't too celebratory. We're happy and we're pleased, but we're also not shaking in our boots, jumping around right now. We want this whole thing. We want it, and so we know it's going to be really hard to do, but we believe in ourselves, and so really it's business right now, and hunger that's our focus.
The Penguins will take on Arkansas State in the regional round at Royal Scott Golf and Bowl in Lansing, Michigan on April 8th and 9th. Stay up to date with live stats and results at ysusports.com. This past weekend, the men's tennis team traveled on the road to take on the UIC Flames and the IUPUI Jaguars. Saturday's match was a successful one as the Penguins took down UIC, where juniors Will Everett, Laurentiu Montechescu, freshman Clement Mainguy, and sophomore David Alvarez Moreno all triumphed in their singles matches in 2 sets. However, YSU could not come away with the doubles point because of the 4 singles wins to 3. On Sunday, Youngstown State continued their road trip to IUPUI to take on the Jaguars. Starting off was the doubles competition where YSU could not compete with the Jags and would lose the doubles points. It was all YSU from there as the team won 4 straight singles matches thanks to Everett, Moreno, junior Javier Pla, and freshman Harry Fuzas. With the win, the men's tennis team moves to 8-8 overall, but remains undefeated in the Horizon League with 4-0. Up next for Youngstown State men's tennis, they will continue on the road this Saturday as they compete in another Horizon League match against the Northern Kentucky Norse. First serve is set for 4 p.m. And for the women's tennis team, they also competed this past week, beating the Oakland Golden Grizzlies at home with a final of 5-2. Despite losing the doubles point, 5 of 6 singles matches ended in a victory for Youngstown State. Sophomore Aliska Marsakova and freshman Elisa Regazio and Julia Marco defeated their opponents with ease in 2 sets. Meanwhile, freshman Lily Minch and junior Jessica Stanmore's matches were not won as smoothly, but they would both come back from behind to help the Penguins win their first Horizon League of the season. The women's tennis team is now 7-8 overall, heading into the conference road trip this weekend. On Saturday, they will battle the Northern Kentucky Norse and then head to Indianapolis to take on the IUPUI Jaguars on Sunday. This past weekend, the track and field team participated in the Slippery Rock Dave Labor Invitational on Saturday, April 2nd at the William Lennox track at Mahalik Thompson Stadium. The one-day event saw YSU total 5 event victories in javelin, shot put, pole vault, discus, and 5,000 meter. In the field events, senior Noah Drudy led the way with a men's javelin throw of 63.97 meters to claim first place. Junior Dominic Perry paced all competition in the men's shot put, throwing the mark of 17.10 meters. The Penguins were able to take the top 2 spots in the men's pole vault, which was led by senior Wyatt Lefker, who claimed the event victory with a 4.81 meter vault, and freshman Elijah Nelson, who placed second with a 4.66 meter vault. Making her Youngstown State debut, Lindsay Baker logged an event victory in the women's discus throw with a 44.8 meter chuck. In the women's 5,000 meter run, Mackenzie Scott led the way with her first place finish and a personal best time of 17 minutes and 41.65 seconds. The track and field team is back in action Thursday, April 7th through the 9th, and they will split the squads, sending portions of the program to the Tennessee Relay and Mount Union's John Homan Open. And now it's time for the Penguin Player of the Week, and we're going to send it over to Bryce Noel.
Thanks, Caleb. This week's Penguin Player of the Week goes to 5th-year pitcher Ellie Buffenbarger of the softball team. This past weekend against IUPUI, Buffenbarger was lights out as she pitched 14 total innings, allowing just 2 runs off 5 hits while striking out 18 in her 2 appearances. The program's all-time strikeout leader and reigning Horizon League Pitcher of the Year now sits with a 13-4 record on the year with a 2.6 ERA. Congratulations to Ellie on being this week's Penguin Player of the Week, and good luck to the softball team this weekend against Cleveland State. Back to you, Caleb.
And thank you, Bryce. And that's all the time we have here this week for the Penguin Rundown. Make sure to stay connected with the show on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Penguin Rundown 1. And until next time, Penguin Nation, we'll see you next time.